told, she done taught me. You know, you never tell. You never. This is what I've learned, right? And always have a good heart. So I'm learning all these things my mama done taught me. All these things I'm seeing. And take care of your siblings. And you hold them. You watch them. You hold their hand. All these things, right? And so being taught how to be a good person growing up in a household when those women in there were teaching me how to survive in there, I was giving back being a good person. So I was getting something because I was giving something. That's when
Absolutely.
I knew in a place like that, first of all, you're going to have to give something to get something. And right then and there, I know you're going to have to give respect. And not only to your peers around you, but to them people who we once didn't respect. So I
Absolutely.
got to give them some type of respect so that I can sleep good at night. So now I'm learning this pattern, and now it's familiar. It's becoming familiar. So I do about a year in there. And I come home about 2 weeks before my son's first birthday, and after that I'd be lying if I told you it became a pattern, and that was at 21. I'm
That's right.
35, so it became a pattern. So you might not understand when I tell you up until 2023, I have not spent a year of my life free until last year. I made it
Mm.
1 year free. I don't know what
No,
it's like to see the holidays. I don't
very
know what it's like to see
understandable.
birthdays. I don't know what it's like to see all my son's birthdays. My mama raising him now. What do I do? Because now this pattern is becoming so familiar. But I ain't learned the lesson because I smell home. It's so familiar. I'm right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can still run to. My mama can still run to me. Somebody can still run to me. I can still call them shots. So when I go to prison, now I'm so far away. Because now my mama on the East Coast back at home in Philly, where she's originally from. My son, I had to send him there at about 4 years old because now I'm on the run. And now I got this high-end lawyer I done paid for because now I'm out here and I'm in the game. Life's sweet for me. You know, the money ain't nothing. I'm queen pin status out here. Let me go ball out for this lawyer. Let me do this. And so when the lawyer told me, look, they own you, you gonna have to figure it out. It's either you go down now, what you gonna do? I said, I can't go down now. I gotta go on the run. My mom and my son need me. What do I do? I send my son and my little sister on a Greyhound with my last 9,000, y'all. I tell y'all no lies, right? And I tell my lawyer, I gotta rock the boat. I gotta do this. So I take on life 4 years, 8 months, 2 days on the run.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get caught and I go into this and now I'm headed to prison. Okay, so now one county didn't send me to prison, but all these counties didn't linked up against me. So now I got to go serve this prison sentence. Not even knowing when I get there, and I put in these 1381s, I'm finna go out to these other jurisdictions. They finna sentence me back to prison. So
Yeah.
I had no clue that I was finna get very familiar with an unfamiliar place. um, so when I take that first drive to prison and I get out that van, y'all, I remember when the first judge told me I was going to prison, I wasn't calling no God because I wasn't even familiar with God. I was talking about a game God around that time. It was a game God.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Right.
the only person that could cross my mind and tell me what to do because now they told me I'm going to go to prison. And I thought about my dad.
Mm.
And I'm like, what do I do? So I go back to the module and I get on the phones and they let me have this moment. And I call my mama and I explained to her, my son around this time, he's only 6 years old, I say. And I call her and I say, I'm going. They just sentenced me to 4 years in prison. And the what I heard through that phone let me know that I was selfish. And that I ain't learned nothing yet. I didn't learn nothing yet. The sound of them that cry, that was nothing compared to what was coming next. You know, that pained me. And so I go to prison and I hop off that van and I get chills talking about it. It's crazy. I'm shaking, right? So
Yeah.
I hop off that I hop
That's
off
our
that
journey.
van and I hop off that van and I'm and it's this Uso, my Uso D, Miss D. She right there with me. 3 other girls with me, Alexis and a couple other ladies. And they was familiar with it. They done been there before. They older than me. You know, they older. I'm only 20 something. They older. And
That's the
so
OGs.
yeah, and so I hop off that thing and I look up at this place and I turn around and it's like it's nothing there, you know? And I look up and I see these men with some guns and these towers and I'm like, okay. Then I go in and here comes the part where we strip out and all this in front, and I got to do this in front of all these, and I here comes the part where now I'm realizing that I have no control. I'm not the boss no more. I'm not the shot caller no more.
Somebody has control over your life.
Somebody, it's a system though.
That's right.
But this was only a few minutes into me knowing that a system had control over my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I allowed that with the choices that I made. So now let me go ahead and lock it in. So I remember the first time I stripped out, and I remember the first tear falling, and they kept falling and falling, and I was trying not to let nobody else see. And I'm like, okay, this is where you gotta lock it in. This is where you gotta toughen up. So I say to myself, what would my mom do? You know, and y'all, when I said in R&R, and we finally got them bundles, and we hit that reception yard to go and get placed. I said, oh Lord, wait. I said, my body got hot. My body got hot, and I said, this is what it is for me. I looked up, y'all. I looked around, and I still didn't call on God because I was not familiar. I was not familiar with Him, right? And I said, this what it is. And I remember the Uso looking behind her at me in a straight line, and she said, "You're gonna be all right." But when she said it, it went through one ear and out the other because only person that could tell me I'm gonna be all right is my mama, because that's who always had me. You can't tell me I'm gonna be all right. You can't save me. My mama can save me, right? Or the game gonna save me. The hustle gonna save me. You can't save me. So, I say from day one of me stepping in that prison, I seen bloodshed, and I was like, no matter what I did in the streets, it's not in my heart to hurt anyone. I can never take thy life. I barely like to use the word hate. So my first week in there, I seen bloodshed. I said, oh, this is what it is. This is what's going on. And I thought to myself, once again, y'all, I said, this is what my dad been going through? Because I couldn't stop what I seen.
Mm-hmm.
And now I had to say, well, is this what I'm about to keep seeing? So my journey through prison was scary. It was painful. It was exhausting and overwhelming. It was challenging, depressing, right?
Absolutely.
But it made me a beast. It made me a beast. It taught me something that my mother never taught me, that the streets never taught me, the game never taught me, friends never taught me, family never taught me. The beauty of it was the people that taught me humanity, the people that taught me who God was and just how good He is. That place taught me how to be kind. You know, it made me resilient. It made me a warrior. It made me like, and you know what? In between that time, my mother struggled, and I remember one day calling home, and she said, "I gotta sell my washer and dryer, because we struggling, our grandson needs some stuff." And I said, "Hold on." And while I'm thinking this place is supposed to rehabilitate me, I'm seeing that
Mm-hmm.
it's no rehabilitation. That's a lie. First of
That's
all,
right.
that needs to be ripped off the front of the building,
That's
right?
right.
So I remember going to the yard to an OG clear as day, and I say, "I'm a hustler." I said, "I need a route. I need to hustle. Can I have your blessings?" Because I already knew. We ain't gonna get into what I already knew. And so I start risking my life while my life was already taken away
Mm-hmm.
to provide for my family. So now I'm turning to somebody that I'm not to survive in a place where I have to be. And if I make the wrong move, it can prolong past 5 years.
That's right.
If I make the wrong move, but what do I do? Because all I know is to feed my family. So what do I do? Do I chose to follow the system and the rules? Because I've never done that. And they not even having a plan in place here to tell me how to do that.
Mm.
Because for where I'm standing and seeing everybody getting by through love, unity, and scheming. So now I'm not rehabilitating. I'm doing the same thing, and it's going so much faster because the prison move faster than the streets. You got to understand it. So now I'm not even able to lock in up here because between the inmates and the COs, who's telling me I got to follow some rules? Who's telling me what I need to be doing? They with it. They with it. And my mom need it. So I remember going through a phase in there where I felt suicidal, and I remember being on suicide watch for days. And I kept seeing my son's face at the last point where I put him on that Greyhound to him and my sister to go with my mom. And I remember that one expression on his face. It was a confusing expression. And I remember I said, I got to get up out of here. I said, I got to get out this room. This ain't where I belong. You know,
That's
this ain't
right.
where I belong. I got to get up. So I got up and I used my feet to make a difference. I got back to my room and I told my then significant other at the time, excuse me, I said, I can't stay here. And I remember her looking at me with a face like, me either.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And at that very moment, I was blessed to have somebody who knew that it was better out. It was better waiting. We had families, and my then significant other mother was in the feds at that time. They got out on the same day. It was crazy. She left her at 7 years old, or 11 or 7
Mm.
7 years old.